Hey there, it's Lady Night, and today is number 6 of these 7 VRs. And in my last one I was talking about which chord card am I, and I actually forgot to show the chord card, and since I'm not editing, I'm going to do it now. This is my favorite Page of Cups, or Princess of Cups. This is from the Röhrig Tarot. This one's the Spanish version, and I have trimmed the titles off and the borders. And yeah, let's see if I can bring that closer. Will you focus? Come on. Well, I like that she is, if you could see, she's diving in head first. And it says on the card, this is about emotional freedom and self-confidence. So, emotional freedom, yes to that. Self-confidence, it's okay. I am learning the subtle art of not giving a fuck. Good book, very funny. And in my Amazon review I wrote, this is like the Hound and Tyrion Lannister and maybe Sir Davos sitting together in a pub with a bit to drink and just having a conversation. This book is so good. Anyway, today's topic is, I wanted to answer some questions, and I was going through some of the hashtags that have already been put out there, and there's so many, and a lot of them ask very similar questions. So I was comparing questions, and in the end I decided to go with an oldie but goodie, and that's the hashtag Tarot Obsessed that was put out by Katey Flowers as a kind of response to Imogen Walter's hashtag Oracle Obsessed. And since I don't have that much to say about oracles, I'm going with tarot. And yeah, I think the questions in that cover everything pretty well. So here it goes. What was your very first tarot deck? The first one I showed in my first video of the 7, and that was my Sailor Moon tarot deck. That was a Major Arcana, and the first 78 card deck was a Tarot of the Witches, also known as the James Bond Tarot. What is your current favorite deck? I have to say, this one, I always come back to it. So that is definitely one of my favorites, but I also really like my Lo Scarabeo Tarot. I wish it was borderless. I hope they re-release that in a borderless edition. Same design that they had for the pre-Raphaelite. And some other decks, so that will be amazing. And I also really like my, my mixed deck that is kind of like a mix of the Initiatory Golden Dawn and a few cards from the Ludi Lescott. I really love that. And I just had the name. Lost it. What's your most used tarot deck? Since I have used different decks at different times for a certain length of time, that question is kind of difficult to answer statistically. But nowadays, my Röhrig Tarot is definitely one of my go-to decks at the moment. And also the mixed deck that I just talked about, Initiatory Golden Dawn and Ludi Lescott, I use that one quite a lot. And also my Lo Scarabeo Tarot. So yeah, more than one. What's your least used tarot deck? I just got this one, the Barbieri Tarot by Paolo Barbieri. And I had really high hopes for this one because I have his Zodiac Oracle and also the Chinese horoscope Oracle, and they're just amazing and like right to the point. But this one, a lot of the cards really don't match up with the Rider-Waite-Smith system. So I have to go into the book and really say what it's all about. The book was written by Barbara Moore, the Little White Book. So if there is a different system behind it, then maybe, but as a Rider-Waite-Smith clone, definitely a miss. Very sad. But the images are gorgeous. And another one that I bought because, okay, my man, he's a really big fan of the Alien movies. And so when I told him that there's a tarot deck from the guy who created these drawings in the first place, he's like, oh, go get it, go get it. And I'm like, no, it's really expensive. I'm not just going to buy it just because you like the movies. And then I saw that there is it has been released in different editions, and I actually have the 2010 edition that is with an additional card. So this is 23 cards. It's a Major Arcana deck, and this one has the I think it's called the Creator Virus or something. That's the additional card. So I got this, and I saw it on YouTube before, and I knew that the pictures were kind of disturbing, but it's a different thing to see it in a video and to have it in your hands and to look at the cards. So far I have unpacked this, got it out of the plastic, looked at the cards, and put it away, and that's where it will stay. I will never use this deck. This is more the category of collector's item, and maybe possibly in the future maybe a trade for something better. I don't know, but no. So number 5, how did you learn tarot? Well, in the beginning I had to rely on books and things that were written down. Well, the first one was my Sailor Moon Tarot, and that came with a magazine that was even though it didn't have much information, but the information provided was very good. And then when I got my James Bond Tarot, I relied on the little white book for a while, and then I had another book about magic, and one chapter in that book was about tarot and about the meanings of the cards. And even though they only had like a few little sentences for each card, that book and these descriptions fit the Tarot of the Witches so perfectly that I started to use that book instead of the little white book. And then later when I had my Avalon Tarot, that came with its own guidebook. So yeah, I just relied on the guidebooks that came with it. And ever since the internet is there, I read a lot of stuff online, and now I have shopped for quite a few tarot books, and I'm going through them a little bit at a time. Number 6, what do you use tarot for? Well, for myself, I try to analyze certain situations and people that I meet in regards to me, like, is someone telling me the truth? Are they trustworthy? How do I feel about that person? Or if I'm in a situation where I don't really know what to think, I look for some guidance, and depending on what kind of advice the cards give me, I know that if I like it, then that seems to be something good. If I don't like it, well, there's still something going on. And I use that to figure out, well, I don't want to do that, so maybe I'll do something else instead, but it still gets me thinking. So that's how I use it personally. And others who ask me for readings, that number one question is, of course, always relationship related, love relationships, and yeah, barely family relations. They always want to know about love. And the second most asked question is career. Number 7, how do you read tarot, intuition or book? Both. Both. Number 8, do you use spreads? Yes, I do. And I want to use more in the future. So far my go-to spread is the Celtic Cross, and I also do 3-card spreads. And I have been testing out a 9-card spread recently, and that seems to be working quite well. And I also have some other spreads written down from the internet, and I want to try them. Number 9, do you mix tarot with other divination systems? Well, oracle cards. And I want to learn more about astrology in regards to tarot, and that's why, for example, I have the Moon Oracle that will tell me a little bit, and I'm watching the Radiant Sun oracle at the moment on Amazon, waiting for the price maybe drop a little bit, or for a coupon. And I also have the Astro Tarot, which I think will be quite similar to the Radiant Sun Oracle, because it also has certain things that it combines in each card. For example, this one here says Cancer Moon and Leo Sun, and then it talks about this combination. So yeah, there's this is a 78 card deck, and I know the Oracle of the Radiant Sun has 84, so there is a difference, but I would love to see what the difference is and how this and the Sun and the Moon Oracle can help me learn more about astrology. Number 10. What makes a good tarot deck? For me, it's balance. I like a deck that is well thought out, and well, as a kind of bad example for that, I would say the Game of Thrones tarot, because the Game of Thrones universe is really big, and in that deck a few people show up more than once, some twice or 3 times or 4 times. And so if the Empress is also the queen of something and the Emperor is also the king of something, that to me just, I can understand in certain situations why they chose this particular motif for the card. It does make sense, but so many places and people were left out, and the story covers all of that, and this is only taking like half of the story and using that to tell something, and that to me is not balanced. So if I have a deck, I want this to kind of come full circle. I want it to be well thought through. And I don't know how to describe that any better. And also, yeah, I like the Hierophant or the High Priest to be a man. Simply because the High Priestess is a woman. I have the Empress and the Emperor, typical male-female, and so to me that's just like the yin-yang male-female energy. And these 4 cards to me are balanced out, and I want them to be male-female, 2 and 2. And the rest of the deck, yeah, it's good to have some kind of balance in there. So if the, like in my Röhrig Tarot, for example, there's Princess and Prince, and then the Queen and the Knight. So girl, boy, that's also very balanced. I like that. So yeah, for me it's about balance. That's what makes a good deck for me personally. Number 11. How important is it to you that the deck sticks to the tarot system? Well, if it's a Rider-Waite-Smith based deck, then I would like it to stick to the Rider-Waite-Smith system. If it's Thoth based, as long as the deck, or yeah, the creator kind of says what system they use, then I of course want them to stick to that system. If it's a completely new system, like for example the Dreams of Gaia, that has its own system, then as long as it's explained very well so that people can understand it and use it, that's great. So yeah, as long as what it says on the back of the package is what's in the package, I'm all good. Number 12. Do you have any backup decks? Yes, I do. For my very first one, the Sailor Moon Tarot, I bought a second copy off of eBay. I do have 2 versions of the new Mythic Tarot, but that was because when I first got it, it was in a little tuck box, and it didn't even come with a little white book. There was nothing in there to tell me anything about the cards. And so I went on eBay, I believe, and I was looking for a book on that. And I found the book that came with another set of cards, so that's why I have 2. And I do have 3 different versions of my Röhrig Tarot. I have the big German cards, I have the smaller Spanish cards, and the slightly bigger Czech cards with the gilded edges. So, and I think that's all of my... Oh no, my the mixed deck that I have from the Arcanum board game. That's the hybrid from the Initiatory Golden Dawn and Ludi Lescott. I bought a second game to have a backup deck because in this combination you can't get it anywhere else, and the game is now sold out. So I'm really glad that I got I think it was the third to last one that I got, and I'm really happy about that. So in case something happens to that deck, I have a backup. Number 13. Do you have any unusual or unique decks? Yes. This one. That's one of them. Yeah, my Sailor Moon deck is also a little bit unusual in the sense that it's a limited edition. And I have an Oracle deck that's a German Oracle deck from Wilhelm Busch, who is a writer, and he also did illustrations for his stories, and some of these illustrations were taken for an Oracle deck that was meant like kind of to be a party game, and I showed that in one of my 31 Days of Tarot videos where it was about the top 5 Oracle decks. I showed that deck there. So that's also kind of unusual because I've only ever seen it on one other German tarot channel. Number 14. What's your current deck crush? That changes all the time, but I guess that's why it's current. Well, I do like working with my Röhrig Tarot at the moment very much, and yeah, I mean, I buy the decks because I kind of have a crush on them when I see them online and I want to have them. And when I work with them, like for example, the Ethereal Visions is also one that is very beautiful. Yeah, but for the most part, this one will always be a deck crush. Number 15. Do you read reversals? Not yet, but, well, I've tried, but kind of failed. I bought a book, and this one is by Lisa Robertson, and it's quite a big book, and it's from Llewellyn, and she's the one who put out the Mermaid Tarot this year. This book is from 2018, so it's not even that old. And I'm going to work my way through here and then see if reversals are something that I want to do or not. And last questions. If you could only use one deck, which one would it be? Ooh, that's mean. How should I decide? I mean, I have at least 4 decks that I keep in a current rotation, even though I can only think of 3 names. But if I had to use one... Well, it doesn't say for how long. So, if I can only use one deck for the next month, then once again I think I'm going to go with this one. And the month after that it might be another one. Well, those were the 16 questions of the hashtag Tarot Obsessed video. That was from Katey Flowers, and her video will be in the description box along with the questions. So thank you for watching, and see you in my next video. Bye!